Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Avalanche 2 Super Avalanche. This just came out on Steam. I've got to admit, the only Avalanche that I'm familiar with is the 2002 smash hit action adventure disaster movie Vertical Limit, and also the 1996 Colorado Avalanche. Avalanche. I don't know. Every time my brain tricks me into using the soft A's on that. Anyway, this is apparently the sequel to a game called Avalanche. It just came out on Steam. $10 American, I believe, is the actual price here. I picked it up myself, so I should actually know. This is not a review copy, but it looked like it was up my alley. And I mean that in as non-gross a way as possible, and I played about an hour of it myself, and I thought about it a lot, and I like it a lot, and I thought about it because I like it a lot, and I think I might be a wee bit addicted to the game. This, if I had a type of games that was not just like dungeon crawling roguelites, it would be fast-paced, like super addictive arcade-type games that you play very quickly. It reminds me a little bit of Super Crate Box, not in terms of the actual gameplay that you get into, but in terms of the way that play sessions typically go. You know, each play session lasting anywhere from 4 seconds to, 5 or 6 minutes maybe if you do really well. Anyway, I'm just gonna get started here. I'll start with, I just want to add some missions here to see if there are any to actually add, and then we'll go back to our title screen and we will go to Play Endless here. I've played about an hour so far. And that is actually kind of a lot in a game like this. Like, within 10 minutes, I was like, I like this, I know what I'm getting into. Now, it's just to do with the fact that I'm super addicted. So what the heck is going on in Avalanche 2, Super Avalanche? I got a lot to talk about here. But it's actually a very simple game to describe in terms of its, what you do on a moment-to-moment basis. You basically try not to get crushed by these blocks, and you climb as high as you can get. There's boss fights. You also have coins as well. You can use these coins to buy stuff from the shop. I'm not going to buy anything from this shop because we already have our only power-up slot so far filled already. But we could get... Oh, that's going to crush that chest. Dang it. But we could get more stuff, or more power-up slots later. Those are other power-ups for us as well. I'm going to bank some coins. The overall objective in the game is pretty much to climb as high as you possibly can. Oh, that was very stupid of me. Is to climb as high as you possibly can, but there are kind of like micro objectives as well. Like, for example, there's a whole economy with your coins. You get coins for killing enemies, you get coins for opening chests, or, landing on things that say, hey, jump on this to get some coins. Like that thing right there, for example. Cape is my favorite item, so I'm very happy to have it. But you need to be able to bank these coins, and I'm leaving a lot of these coins behind, which is inevitably not going to strike many people, I think, as a proper decision. I do not want that, but I'm happy to get the extra coins from surfing there. Surfing is basically by not touching the ground, you touch a lot of blocks. There are boss fights as well, as you are probably apt to see right now. So you want to bank your coins as often as possible because you're going to use those coins to unlock stuff from the shop. You don't necessarily unlock stuff that super makes the game easier. What is this? Permanently move faster. Okay, there are passive upgrades you can get as well. And the game gets... These are climbing gloves from Spelunky. The game gets harder and harder as you go along. There's a couple of ways to die. You could get hit. The first hit takes your power up. Every hit where you don't have a power up kills you, unless you have a follower that brings you back to life. I'm really hoping to get another upgrade that lets us have more power up slots. Those scrolls are challenges, which you can see the challenges down there in the bottom left. Those give us further kind of like micro objectives that we can take on a run-by-run basis. I really didn't expect my first run to last quite as long as it has. Oh, geez. We can also break blocks if we can't make moves. Usually takes 4 hits. And there we go. That's going to allow us to actually get up there. And I have lost my crown, or my cape. What was I talking about? Yes, we have deposited our coins now, so we banked them. You bank them, you buy stuff from the shop. The stuff you buy in the shop can be, superficial. Like, I've got my guy decked out kind of like Homer Simpson in flashbacks to before he had children. Coins are magnetized. That's actually a really good item for us to get here. But some of them are effective for you as well, as you'll find as we make our way through here. Good, we got our cape back. Even though I love coins are magnetized, the cape gives you like 4 air dashes that you can use every time you touch a wall or touch the ground, so it's so useful, particularly for surfing, and surfing does give you a decent coin bonus, but also helps keep you alive, so something to be said for that. And you can see like the, ooh, that's like 30 coins? Yeah, it is 30 coins. The, red bar, whenever I use it, is how many, spaces we have, or how many, air dashes we have left over. Good, we made it, and we'll get a lot of coins there for having Surf 9 blocks. Fantastic. So again, you know, your main goal is trying to survive, but at the same time, you are also, you know, trying to do the economic thing as well, get as many coins as possible. Usually my runs, oh, that was very dangerous. Usually my runs are a lot shorter than this, and it gives the game a little bit more of an addictive feel because of how fast it goes. But I can't tell a lie, I'm very excited to be having a run rate here that seems to be going fantastically, and this may end up being my second best run ever. It really has that, like, oh, one more run type thing. I think this will only be, like, the second time I've beaten this boss, if I can indeed beat this boss. I really want to kill that dude, just so we're safe here. And we're doing some challenges here. We gotta kill 8 bosses, not on the same run, just cumulatively to get that bonus there. We gotta climb 2,000 feet. We could conceivably do that on this one. The challenges, some of them seem to be time-controlled, like, oh, that was very stupid of me. Some of them seem to be time-controlled, like if you do them, you only have one run to do as much as you can. This guy's actually gonna be pretty tricky for me here. And some of them, on the other hand, seem to be, you know, stretching over multiple runs. Come on, dog. I need you to get down here. I think all bosses take 5 hits to kill. So we just need him to drop down. It should be now. Usually it's got like a Super Mario Land 2 Secret of the 6 Golden Coins thing going on where you can bounce on them multiple times, but instead we died. But you're going to see here, we're going to bank a lot of stuff. We also unlock new items in the shop as we level up. And we'll get a little bit of a recap of how we did here. 650-something feet, 660-something feet. That's not that bad. And we'll be adding a decent amount of coins to our bank here. So that is like, it's the best run I've had in like the last 15 runs, as you can see there. And it's basically tied for the second best run we've ever had. That was a relatively good performance. I really like that leaderboard style that they have there. As you can see, I did get up to 1,197 feet once. That was the run of my life, basically. The game does a really good job of putting you in that flow state where you just kind of forget what's happening around you, just play the game. We have 594 coins in the bank. Let's go to our custom shop quickly and see what we can pick up. So, I picked up a few things. I did pick up a pass. What this allows us to do is not start at 0. Instead, we can start at 225. I sort of think of this, at least right now, as being like, you know, in Spelunky, where you can get the Tunnel Man to open up shortcuts. I don't know if I necessarily want this, because you can get stronger if you start lower, but also this would expedite the process of, you know, getting to see those new enemies in practice and stuff like that. I also have a badge. This gives us extra missions on every single level, so we can get more coins and more experience. And this is all cosmetic stuff that is, you know, you play as a marshmallow, so I've given the marshmallow eyes, hair, the color of a banana, and the mouth as well. Which was actually fairly expensive, you know, when you suck at the game, you don't get very many coins here. But we have other stuff, like stuff that makes some items better, like, for example, Dash Badge. You start with the cape, double tap to dash, but it costs 8 coins to use it at first. So, this will inhibit your coins, but it also starts you with the cape, which is really good. But you do, at level 0, you start with a power-up slot anyway, and oftentimes you'll pick up an item early, so I don't really want to get that. Other badges, these make the game harder, but also make it easier in a different way. Like, for example, start with an extra life, but double the enemies. Cuts the number of enemies in half, but that means less coins as well. And take a risk, take twice as many coins, but the lava rises twice as fast. There's lava at the bottom that you're trying to outrun. You can't just stay at the bottom forever. I'm not going to buy anything else here, I think, unless maybe there's like it just says black nose on it. Does that probably replaces like our mouth or something? I don't know. Let's buy it. It was fairly cheap, and we'll see what this looks like if we put it on instead of our mouth. Yeah, just put that there. Well, that looks ridiculous. Alright, let's go add some more missions here. You basically just hit add random missions, and then it puts whatever missions are available here. As you can see, I've got a lot of missions because I've had that badge active for quite some time. So that's pretty much the gist of what happens in Super Avalanche. You know, it's not any more complicated necessarily than that. But what it does really well. And it's just kind of like it's a whole package. I don't think this is the game that, you know, you're necessarily going to spend 200 hours with. But there have been people that I've seen on Steam reviews that have put, you know, 35 hours into the game. Most of it in the beta, I guess, before the Steam release. But they say they put 35 hours in the Steam review anyway. And I completely believe it. If you're the kind of person who can get sucked into these, like, super addictive, arcadey type games, and I am, you know, Super Hexagon, another example. And I think this game, you know, it really compares well with those games, even though in terms of its gameplay, it doesn't share that much with them. In terms of the actual way the gameplay feels, it shares a lot. This is the kind of game where you could easily, like, one more run yourself. By the way, you can loop around the side of the screen there. That was an incredible jump that happened completely accidentally. And I've kind of screwed myself a little bit here. We can go back the other way, but I kind of just want to... Oh, Jesus. Why don't we just run through the shop? Can I get up this way? Yes, I can. Okay. And it really, it doesn't give you, and I think this is all it needs to do, it doesn't give you a reason to stop playing, if that makes sense. Graphics, I actually like them a lot. I think it looks kind of like, you know, Bust-A-Move or something like that. Those arcade cabinets that you would find in like a Toys R Us or something like that, and after you got finished begging your mom to buy you a game, you would play a little bit of the Match 3 Bubble Bobble puzzle game. Or, it looks a little like Joe and Mackie to me as well, but anyway, it's definitely, it seems like it's got that retro influence down. Oh, there we go, we finally climbed 2,000 feet. Ooh, obstacles get a little harder as we go along. You can jump on these for coins, they give you more coins the more you jump on them. Do we want any of these? I mean, I do love the cape. Like, I really, really love the cape. Why don't we buy that? It's only 10. It's not like we're missing out on it too much. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention fairly early into the video that the music is amazing. Like, sincerely, one of those soundtracks, you know, I've only been playing it for like an hour, so I don't necessarily want to come over the top and say like, oh, it's one of those soundtracks that's like on par with Cave Story or something like that. Oh, we're very close to winning already. But it's a great soundtrack that I've been enjoying a lot. You know, one of the soundtracks where I'm like, I would listen to this a little bit in my off time, for sure. Hopefully you can hear the music fairly well in the background there. The music is absolutely excellent, and almost worth the price of admission for itself alone. But it helps that the game itself is awesome as well. And again, that's what I'm getting at when I say, like, it doesn't give you a reason not to play. It's very, very enjoyable to play it. And you have a good time while you're in the game as well, you know? It's the whole thing is a unified package, shall we say. Now, the one reason that you might not want to play it, or you might be able to... I don't think I want... Yeah, I prefer the cape for now. I don't want to get crushed. Like, there's two ways you die. You get hit too much. There's three ways you die. You get hit too much, you fall into the lava, or you get crushed by a block. And usually getting crushed by a block is an instant kill, unless you have the follower that makes it so you get a 1-up, basically. So I've got to be, like, especially careful about that. But the one reason you might be hesitant to play right now is, well, two reasons, I guess. If you're not necessarily into games like this, of course, this is not probably going to change your mind necessarily, because... Oh, I'm going to get crushed. I made it out. Holy crap, but I did lose my cape. Because you've possibly made up your mind already before even really seeing what the game's about, and that's not necessarily completely unfair. I really do not like this item. This one gives you the ability to kind of see block info as it falls down, so you can sort of see earlier than when it's on the screen if a block is approaching you. I also don't really like the pogo stick. I don't like anything that gives us a bounce jump, because it's hard to time. And the other reason, possibly price. I think, you know, $10 at this point, with the competition and what's on Steam, is a fairly realistic price point. There will be people who feel differently, but I'm not of the opinion, or of the mind that, like, I like to argue about Steam prices anymore, because I kind of take it like Steam pricing is like haggling. Like, somebody, the game developer comes over the top and says, like, hey, how about $10? It's worth $10 to me. And then, you know, some players are like, yeah, you know, $10 to not have to wait for it, that's fine by me. And other ones are like, I don't know, this seems more like a $7.50 game to me. And the beauty of it is that eventually that price will come around, you know, given, cape? Not cape. Coins are magnetized. I would rather have that than either of these two items, so should be fine. What I'm getting at is basically like, yes, that doesn't mean that there are not games that I think are priced too expensive. Like, if this was $50, you'd have a cause to be like, well, this is probably a little silly, like, know your audience to some extent. I think he's dead now. Fantastic. We got a combo for jumping on enough enemies in a row as well there. The music for the third section of the game is so good, also. Oh, and I've been crushed. Okay, so you won't even get to experience it that much. But what I'm getting at is that it's kind of like, we can skip through all this stuff, of course. It's kind of like, you know, bargaining. If you don't want to pay $10 for the game, you don't have to pay $10 for the game. You can wait 6 months and pick it up for $5, or you can wait 18 months and pick it up for $2.50. 18 months, pick it up for $2.50. My mistake with my diction there. Anyway, but if you are the kind of person who, you know, played Super Crate Box, and that is really like, oh, I fell in the lava. That happens a lot. It really is kind of like the closest analog in terms of gameplay experience, I feel, for me, like between Super Avalanche. Super Crate Box is also very close. I mean, they both have Super in the name, so how could that possibly be wrong? For real, I think you can easily get, it depends on your value proposition, you know, if for $10 you need 30 hours of gameplay, I don't think everybody's going to get 30 hours of gameplay out of this, but I think if you got pretty obsessed with it, you probably could. Ooh. But, you know, for other people who maybe are looking for a little bit more of a diversion, at a cheaper price point, you might find it more attractive. But I feel like I've gotten my money out of this so far. And I definitely feel like I could treat this a little bit like I treated Super Hexagon for a little while, which was like, you know, I don't have any design. We can crush these, by the way, and it'll be fine. We don't have any design, or I don't have any design on becoming the best Super Avalanche player in the world. However, I would love to, you know, use this as kind of like a casual game to play when I just wanted to relax a little bit. And it's addictive enough. It's not even really casual, but you know what I mean. It's addictive enough that it definitely feels like it fits the bill for that as well. Like, it's not a casual game. It's like a hardcore game that's easy to play. It's not necessarily easy. There is also local co-op in the game. I haven't had a chance to try it out myself yet. And, you know, local co-op is often one of those features that not necessarily everybody has the ability to check out, but if you do, there you go. It exists. I'm not going to prognosticate as to whether or not it works because I do not know. This gives us actually a triple jump in addition to our cave dash. So we could have a lot of maneuverability here, but at the same time, I also sort of feel like it's maybe not that good, and there goes our triple jump. Timing the jumps is sometimes hard. The one complaint I will make, even though I'm a big fan of the game, is that it does take a long time to get used to the controls. And I think it makes sense to some extent, because you're not controlling... Like, let's put it this way. It doesn't immediately feel as accessible as something like a Super Meat Boy, which is obviously, you know, commonly considered sort of the gold standard for platforming with wall jumping these days. And deservedly so. Obviously, Super Meat Boy controls really well. We didn't get that challenge, unfortunately. Ooh, at least get a couple of coins out of this. However, it sort of seems to make sense given that you are literally controlling a mushroom. Like, I don't like that argument when it comes to mechanics. People will be like, well, you're controlling a mushroom. Of course it controls not as well as you would expect. And, you know, if you're playing like Surgeon Simulator, that's part of the point, so I'll concede the point there. However, I think most of the time, you know, satisfying game mechanics trumps immersion, especially in a game like this where it's an abstraction to begin with. However, you get used to it after not very much. Oh, come on. I was just bouncing on the coins there. You want to kill me for that? The lava is quickly approaching us here. I just wanted to make sure we banked as much as we possibly could. We bank! We bank! Oh, baby, when we move, I go crazy. Anyway, yeah, I am not at all surprised by the fact that I like Super Avalanche a lot. Maybe we can come around on the other side. Oh, I botched that one, but we still made it. Yeah, I'm not at all surprised by the fact that I like this, because this game really scratches an itch that I have in gaming a lot, and that's really fast-paced, arcadey type stuff that, you know, has a very low skill floor, but a very high skill ceiling, and is super addictive. I can't stress enough, like, Super Crate Box is in there. That was very poor play on my part. Luftrausers is in there, like, a lot of Lambert stuff is in there. Let's restart here. I'm trying to think of other stuff beyond that and Super Hexagon that is a reasonable analog. Super House of Dead Ninjas kind of feels like a little similar to this. In fact, this actually sort of feels a little bit like Super Puzzle Platformer Deluxe, another game from Adult Swim, in terms of just the fact that, you know, you've got kind of these, like, micro sessions of gameplay that you stack up on top of one another, and before you know it, you're like, oh, I've played, like, an hour. And they don't make too many games like this anymore, and I would rather take a game like this, which is a little bit narrower in focus, or shallower in focus, you could even say, over a game that has a much wider focus but doesn't necessarily execute on it, you know, like, I would much rather play, and this is not for everybody, by the way, a lot of people feel differently about this, but I would rather play, kind of like an elegant, oh jeez, an elegant, perfected, or at least reasonably refined experience like this, versus like a sprawling action RPG or something that just doesn't quite fit the bill, you know, doesn't quite get the job done. But different strokes for different folks. There will be people who see this and say, you know, for 10 bucks, this isn't for me, it's just a little too shallow, and I think that's totally fine as well, you know, different strokes to rule the world. Different strokes to view the world? Wait, oh, wait. Oh, no, I don't want this. We have a jetpack. I'm not sure if you've noticed. There's a jetpack item here. It doesn't seem to give us very much lift, but actually, if we use it all at the same time, it sort of does. That's the first time I've had this item, I think. Alright, what are our challenges here? Kill 8 bosses. So all we need to do is kill 4 bosses on this run. Something I've never done before. Also, the sense of progression is really good. I like the challenges. I like the bosses. There are different bosses. You're not always facing the same one. It seems like you've got 2 different bosses for each level, for lack of a better word. Is he shooting tornadoes at me? No, it's a bird! Ah, dang it. I would have rather gotten rid of the jetpack just because I'm more familiar with the cape. But it's getting the job done here. Do some push-ups down here. I thought you only shot 2 tornadoes, so something's feeling a little fishy here. The bosses really, really have that, like, Super Mario Land 2 search for the 6 golden coins thing going on. Quest for the 6 golden coins. It doesn't matter. You know, there is an endeavor to get 6 golden coins. Really got to watch out for these blocks coming down on top of us. And it's a game that, like, it's accessible. I really, actually, if I may toot my own horn a little bit, I like the way I described it earlier. And I think it's a very effective way to describe it, as having a low skill floor but a very high skill ceiling. There's actually a lot of tips and tricks you learn as you play through the game, and tactics that become, oh, probably should have been hit there, but tactics that become, you know, more valuable as you go along, that you can kind of execute upon. And you learn, almost like the same way in a puzzle game, you would learn, like, hey, don't stand beneath the block that's coming down right on top of you. Hey, like, you know, see if you can get a lot of coins from surfing, because it's a really easy way to get coins in the early game where coins might otherwise be kind of hard to come by. That's going to crush me if I don't get out of the way, but I surfed 8 blocks, so I got a decent amount of coins there. We have full power-ups already, so let's just bank our coins. And of course, I really like that. Oh, I almost made the same mistake I made earlier. I really like that risk-reward thing where, like, you know, you can or not bank your coins. Ah, I'm dead. But I had that extra life. I forgot about that. We lost both of our power-ups, though. The balloon is actually a pretty good power-up, but I'm pretty sure if I tried to get it there, I would have been crushed. So, fair enough. You know, there is an advantage to keeping as many coins out of the... Ooh. Well, I don't like this at all. There's an advantage to having as many coins withdrawn as possible, because obviously... Crap. Obviously, the more coins you have withdrawn, the more impressive items you can buy, assuming you have the... Oh, Jesus, I got points for a close call there. The more stuff you can buy. However, it also carries an associated cost with it, of course, because if you die, you're going to lose out on being able to bank those coins to buy more stuff for the future. But I'm not sure how much of it is progression-based and kind of like a Rogue Legacy sort of style, and how much of it is skill-based. It really feels like, for the most part, it's my own improvement in skill that is actually helping me make more progress here, as opposed to, you know, buying. Like, I actually like that it doesn't seem to have too much in the way of permanent stat increases the way that Rogue Legacy did, where you're like, okay, well... Or even You Must Build a Boat, a game that has... not that I don't like Rogue Legacy, but, you know, games that have permanent stat increases even when you kind of sucked on your run. I think that I prefer, like, a more seemingly pure experience in terms of, like, improving your skill than that. I'm screwed. These clouds are coming. Gray skies are gonna clear. Oh, I really thought that I would lose my familiar there, so I took an overly aggressive jump. Okay, anyway. I've been rambling. It's a pretty easy game to talk about, if you know what I mean, so I'm just gonna actually go back to the title screen here. It's really good. I would recommend it. I can't stress enough, the soundtrack is amazing, the gameplay is addictive, and it really scratches that kind of arcade itch for me. I think this is a great game. If you're interested in picking it up, it is $10 on Steam, and of course, I went on an overly long tangent about it, but if you don't want to pay $10 for it, I don't necessarily think... Like, I hate to see games come out at, like, slightly more than some people think they're worth, and then people go, oh, greedy developers, we used to play this stuff for free in my day. It's true, but how much of that is based on the fact that it's not worth anything, in your mind, and how much of it is based on the fact that there was no platform to realistically, like, sell digital games for back in, like, 2004? Anyway, I digress. If you don't want to pick it up at $10, just keep it on your radar. If you like what you see, you can pick it up in a Steam sale later. But I've gotten my money's worth, and I put my money where my mouth is on this one. I actually did, you know, buy this one myself. I didn't get a review copy, and it's totally up my alley. I do not regret that purchase whatsoever. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.